Hello and welcome to this 10th edition of the RMI and Gondolier Cooperative podcast series. We're very pleased to welcome Carel Venter to the studio today and Christy Brill as well. This podcast series is brought to you by the RMI, Gondolier, the Motor Industry Workshop Association, the Tyre Equipment Parts Association and the Automotive Remanufacturers Association, all proud associations of the RMI. Welcome Carel, welcome Christy.
Thank you very much, Edley. It's been a while since I've been in the hot seat. But yeah, listening to all the podcasts that happen in between, I've got some big shoes to fill. But let's try.
Carel, there's been quite an interesting array of guest speakers here, and we sincerely hope that you'll be able to fill those shoes. Carel, we're talking today about a product that you guys have called Solution Finish, and I'm not going to lead you just yet. I'll rather let you start off and tell us about it, and we'll carry on. We'll pick up from there.
Absolutely, Edley, and thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk about something new. Just before I get to the nitty-gritty of the actual products, let's just talk about our philosophy and what we've always done. Currently we have an excess of 21 international brands that we import, and I think a very big aim from our side, if you look at our tagline, world-class brands, I think that symbolizes exactly what we attempt to do. As I said, we're not interested in having Me Too products. If we were just simply an importer, just fulfilling that function of filling up containers and landing it in South Africa and then just trading it, a Me Too product could work. But we are a brand building company, so we choose brands that are world class, significant market share all over the world. We bring them to South Africa, and these products are all unique. They are not, most definitely not, as I said, Me Too products. They are different.
Thanks very much, Carel. It's always a pleasure to have you with us and to hear the extent of Gondolier's commitment to brands and product and the South African industry. We're talking today about the product Solution Finish in particular. What is Solution Finish?
Edley, in a nutshell, it is a black trim restorer. It's a product that is designed to restore originally black plastic trim on a vehicle, whether it's on the inside or on the outside, to its original OEM finish. Now, traditionally, there's many ways that users have attempted to do it, because if you look at the real problem, if we want to put it like that, in our case an opportunity, if you look at automotive clear coats, it's come a very long way. There's UV inhibitors in there. It doesn't fade standing in the sun. If you look at a car that was manufactured in the 1980s, it would have cracked dashboards, it would have very, very faded trim and paint for that matter. But automotive coatings have come a very, very long way. We've got clear coats that protect the base coat underneath. But the one thing that automotive manufacturers, to varying degrees obviously, haven't really managed to sort out, especially for vehicles that spend their time in very harsh environments like South Africa, is that the actual plastic trim, and that could be your trim around your wipers, it could be fender arches, it could be just normal black trim, or in a lot of cases just a lot of black plastic on the actual bumpers of the vehicles. And what does happen with that, especially in a harsh environment, is that those plastic trims do fade quite a bit, and you don't necessarily always notice it because obviously the whole car is fading. But when you do park it next to a new vehicle, or if you replace a part of that trim, let's say on the left hand side, you are definitely going to notice that there's a big difference on the other side of the car. And that's where Solution Finish comes in. Now, just to talk about the traditional methods that the guys have been using over the years, and it could be anything from QE shoe polish all the way up to just a litre of silicone that you can buy at any spare shop for about 80 Rand or whatever the case may be. The problem with those remedies are they are really, and maybe I should bring Christy in for a quick summary of what I'm going to talk about now, because what I know about makeup is obviously dangerously little. But I can compare it to something like makeup. If a lady puts on makeup in the morning, it's obviously not a permanent thing. She's going to have to do it again tomorrow. And these trims that gets restored in these, let's call them traditional or old ways, is exactly like makeup. it's not a permanent solution. You're going to have to do it again in a little while.
In other words, a bit like a mascara for a motor car.
Exactly, yeah, and you can obviously then compare it to permanent makeup, laser makeup or anything like this. But I think let's just get Christy in there to just quickly talk about makeup, just to get the comparison clear for everyone.
So there we are, Christy. Carel said you're going to give us a comparison to the makeup that we see you all using from time to time.
Thank you, Carl. I appreciate it. And you're very right. I mean, I'd have to put it on every morning to make sure that it looks spectacular, but it's not permanent. And if I could get a permanent solution that costs the same as solution finish, I would do it today. But so definitely something permanent is something that I would look at. And also, it's a lot less damaging, I'm sure.
Thanks, Christy. In all honesty, I don't think you really need much makeup anyway. But let's move back to Carel. So, Carel, let's get back to the permanent solution of solution finish and what it does, how it does it, and what the ingredients are that make it so good.
Edley, I think easy there on the ingredients, because I think this proprietary mix of natural materials that gets used in solution finish is probably better guarded than the KFC recipe. But I can tell you what it does. So if you look at the traditional methods, let's take silicone. I think silicone is a very commonly used product. So if you take your car to a normal car wash in the corner, you will see that they use liberal amounts of that. The problem with silicone is, for that moment that you pull out of the car wash, it will look absolutely fantastic. It will be nice and shiny. But nice and shiny is also not necessarily what you want on black plastic trim. Your car doesn't come out of the factory nice and shiny. It's more like a satin finish you've got on there. The problem with the silicone is twofold. In South Africa, in summer, winter also, we have very, very dry conditions. You've got dust everywhere. Silicone will attract dust. You guys can just imagine if you're driving behind, we term a bakkie, it will have a tonneau cover on it. Have a look at most of the tonneau covers you see that will be just absolutely clogged with dust, because silicone attracts dust. If you look at the other problem that silicone has, is if you had to take a few drops of silicone and drop it into a glass of water, it will float to the top. So it's water repellent. It doesn't like water. It's the old adage of oil and water doesn't mix. So when you put silicone on your vehicle, it will look fine, apart from the dust that it will attract. But the moment you get any kind of rain on there, it will basically try to evacuate the pores of the plastic as quickly as it can. And then you get what we term as tiger striping. So when next you sit in the traffic, have a look at the black trim on vehicles. You'll see these very light and dark patches. A lot of times it will be in the form of stripes, because obviously the vertical surface of the plastic, and it's really trying to escape the plastic. So, as Christy said, and I think she was very good in explaining the makeup part of it, is that it is not a permanent solution. So it would be something that you are going to have to do very often. We're entering into summer now, our rain season, and especially now, we're going to get a lot of rain, and that is going to happen. Now, let's get to solution finish. Apart from not being able to give away the recipe, it is a natural product, so it contains absolutely no silicones, and it's basically an emulsion-based product with a very, very heavy load of carbon. Now, carbon is the black stuff you find. So when you apply solution finish, firstly, you use extremely small amounts of it. You basically just dip it onto a normal applicator sponge, and you start spreading it. And you start spreading it till you see it stops spreading, and then you can dip it again and carry on. But basically what it will do, and even on plastic that is in a very bad condition, it will restore it. It would take the oxidization that has been formed from environmental conditions, and it would basically then break that oxidization down. It would then run into, and that's the easiest way to explain it, it will basically run into the pores of the plastic. It would cure in about 2 to 3 minutes, and you just wipe it off with a soft cloth after that. And that leaves a permanent finish.
So, Carel, this permanent finish that we refer to, what is the duration of that permanence under normal South African harsh UV conditions that we live with?
Well, Edley, it's a question that we very frequently get asked, and I think the simple answer is for a vehicle that gets used every single day, rain or shine, at least a year. We've seen results for much longer than a year, because a lot of times cars get garaged a lot more often, people drive less, and then it will last a lot longer. But let's say every single day use, rain or shine, at least a year.
What sort of packaging sizes does the solution finish come in? And, just an indication, not that we'll hold you to it, but an indication of the cost of the different packaging sizes.
Edley, I have the costing. For a small bottle of 30 mils, and that sounds very little, but for an average household that's got 2 cars and maybe a car for one of the children, so let's say 3 cars, the 30 mil would be comfortably enough for them. And with a finish that's going to last for more than a year, with a price of $249 for the smaller packaging, that is really good value for money, and that will make sure all the plastic trim on your vehicles looks fine for at least a year. The bigger packaging, and this is more aimed at second-hand car dealers, golf clubs, we'll get to that now, because a golf cart has got a great deal of plastic on it, and that's a great addition to any workshop at the golf clubs, because these golf carts get washed and treated with all kinds of things, but the black plastic trim is always faded on a golf cart. So more of a professional packaging size would be the 360 mil, and that sells for 749 Rand excluding VAT. So really good value for money on that bigger packaging.
Carel, just a quick one that comes to mind. We refer to plastic. Does solution finish work on rubber component and rubber trim as well?
Hedley, it does, but solution finish is mainly designed for plastic that has pores in it. So it needs to be a porous material. If you have plastic that is extremely smooth, that has minimum pores or no pores, it's not ideal for that, because the idea is that it seeps into the plastic. It then forms a protective UV layer, and that is part of the protection for at least a year. So very smooth surfaces, not ideal, but your normal rubber trim around your windows, all that, it would be perfect for that, yes.
Okay, so in other words, solution finish relies on a capillary action to penetrate the product to protect it.
Absolutely, it will move on its own accord into all the pores, and that is exactly where it will stay and have the effect. And unlike material like silicon, which will only really sit on the top of the surface, this will not be affected by rain or anything like that, nor will it attract any dust. So you will just have a perfect OEM finish with none of the drawbacks of the traditional methods of restoring plastic.
Carel, just using a bit of an example, someone who only has one vehicle, they buy a 30ml bottle. You've mentioned that probably a 30ml bottle would cover 3 vehicles. So a person has one car. How long would the leftover in the bottle last for?
It's a natural product, at least, so it would comfortably be fine for use for about 2 to 3 years, very easily. It's got a small little agitator ball on the inside, so that just needs to be shaken up so that all your carbon can emulsify into the emulsion again. But it will comfortably, if it's stored in a cool, dark place and it's sealed properly, 2 to 3 years very, very easily.
Carel, solution finish certainly sounds like a bit of a silver bullet, or possibly even black magic. Where did this come from?
Edley, it was found by accident, in actual fact. I bought a new vehicle in October of 2018, and what the dealership must have done when they did the pre-delivery is they must have put some silicone on all my black trim. And the first range we got, it was October, obviously. I looked like I had a bit of a tiger pattern going on, and it was just tiger stripes all over my black trim on my brand new car. So I wasn't very happy. I started looking at solutions because I knew what caused it, so I couldn't go do the same thing, because otherwise I would be applying it each week. And I found Solution Finish, and it took us a while. Throughout 2019, we were running tests. We have a lot of development partners in both the body shop markets as well as the golf market, for that matter, as far as golf carts goes, and of course the detailing market, which is a very, very big part of it. And we tested a product of them. We had to run long-term tests. Gondolier never brings something to market if it hasn't been thoroughly tested in the market. So we did a couple of months of testing, also did a bit of accelerated testing. And the strange thing is, and we've actually just had a look at it, 2 years later on my vehicle, it's never been reapplied. It still looks perfect. It's still OEM finish. It still looks like the day it was applied. So did our research. We found it to be a leading product in America, very, very big in America. They're also big in Australia, New Zealand, and in Europe. And it's a product that is originally from Huntington Beach in California. It gets manufactured there by Solution Finish. And we've managed to start negotiations with them. They like the way we treat brand building and what we do with our brands in South Africa. And we were awarded the agency in the beginning of this year, of 2020. And we kicked off, and it was absolutely amazing. The reception in the market's been really good. So Solution Finish is available from any of our distributors. So if you go onto our website, www.gondolier.co.za, you will find a tab, and just click on there. It lists all our distributors, and you can also find it on takealot.com. So the 30ml bottles is a great product for there, for your person that just wants to do his own vehicle in and around the house. There's other applications as well. Any black plastic trim, whether it's on a vehicle or a jet ski or a boat or a golf cart for that matter, it doesn't matter. There's so many applications for it. So if you have originally black plastic and it's faded and you want to restore it, Solution Finish is your complete solution to get a great finish.
Well, that was a great finish anyway, Carel. Thank you very much for joining us today. And we certainly look forward to seeing Solution Finish in the marketplace and making its mark around the automotive and other sectors. Something else that just comes to mind is restoring and maintaining and looking after camera equipment also springs to mind as a great opportunity for Solution Finish, because of its water repellent and protection factors. And a lot of camera equipment is obviously also out in the UV and in the elements most of the time. Carel, thank you very much. Christy, thank you very much for joining us. And we certainly look forward to seeing you again at the next opportunity when we record Series 11.
Thank you very much, Edley. Thank you very much for having us. Have a fantastic Friday.
Thank you, Edley. We look forward to seeing you next week. And just from our side, if you guys want to see it for yourself, Solution Finish in action, make sure to visit the Gloss Tube channel on YouTube.
Cheers, folks. Well done. And we look forward to chatting to you again soon. Stay safe in the meantime.